stakeholders who have contributed to this targeted dialogue, while at the same time making their final preparations for Tokyo 2020. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kloster-Arsen. And just before we go to the question and answer session, just to remind you that you need to click on the box, the hand on the right-hand box of the dialogue box to ask a question. Then we will let you into the system. If I could remind you to do that and then press continue. So just before we do that, I have one piece of other news just to tell you that I want to inform you that the IOC Executive Board today proposed 6 international federations for full recognition to the IOC session next month in Tokyo. Just to give you the 6, they are the International Cheerleading Union, ICU, International Federation of Muay Thai Associations, IFMA, International Sambo Federation, FIAS, the International Federation of Ice Stock Sport, IFI, World Association of Kickboxing Organizations, WAKO, and World Lacrosse, WL. I think you have a full rundown of all the news from today. So let's go now to questions and answers, and let's go first to Carlos Groman from Reuters. Carlos, up to you, please. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you. A question on Tokyo, if I may. Obviously, this is the most burning issue at the moment. Having seen the latest news of the past week of both what you are doing and what Japan is doing, how confident are you that these games can indeed be successful games amid this negative climate of the pandemic? Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. We are in the full delivery phase with regard to these Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020. In close cooperation with all the stakeholders, and because we are in the delivery phase, I may ask our Olympic Games Executive Director to give you some more information on where we are there with regard to these preparations.
Thank you, President, and thank you, Carlos, for your question. First, let me address what has been done most recently on the ground, because this, I believe, is what gives confidence. A number of events were hosted in Japan, some test events, but also international ones where a number of the measures were tested. And I'm making reference here to our famous playbooks, whom you know extremely well. And what is coming back from the athletes in particular and their entourage is that they are very confident with the measures that have been put in place. Very confident. And this is coming from the ground, from the athletes. Now, if you look at it from where we stand, President, on many occasions you said that these games were the best prepared ever, and this remains the case. They have, from a baseline operations, outstanding work which has been completed, Carlos. And this goes from the venue preparation down to the very details in each of the operations. Now, the most complex factor to integrate is obviously the countermeasure operations. And here we are putting the final touch to the detailed policies which will be published in our playbook version 3. And this is coming out for everyone to see next week, starting with the athletes and the NOC's playbook. And you will see that a lot more details have been added to what was already a very detailed policy document published a month ago. So, Carlos, when we stand where we are, a few days from the opening ceremony, the last thing we have to do now is train the people. And that is what we are doing. Train for each and every scenario so that the teams have gained the confidence in order to operate, which will be a complex but very, very well-planned operations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Carlos. Let's go to Australia, to Shannon Marshall-McCormack from 9 Network. Shannon, if you're there, please ask your question.
Hello, how are you? And thank you for taking my question. Obviously, this is such a huge announcement for Brisbane and Australia. This is the 3rd Olympics that we would be now hosting should the final vote go our way. what was the one key factor that really set Brisbane apart? I mean, I know it is very early in the stage for to choose a city to host 11 years out, but what do you think was one key factor? Was it literally looking at the pandemic and how it's playing around the rest of the world right now?
No, it was about Brisbane and Australia. It was about a sports loving country. It was about the great support from the public and from all levels of government and across the entire political spectrum. It was a clear vision for a sustainable and feasible Olympic Games, fully aligned with Olympic Agenda 2020 and the Olympic Agenda 2020 plus 5. And all this together, I think, made it somehow irresistible there for the Commission as well as for the Executive Board today. But we are not there yet. It's in the hand of the IOC members now to vote on 21st of July.
And obviously our really good climate, despite the fact that it's actually just 10 degrees right now in Brisbane, which is highly unusual even in winter.
Climate is, of course, always important, but what is more important, is the human atmosphere. And there, we see the Aussies loving their sport and their athletes and cheering the athletes from all across the globe and welcoming them. This is more important than whether it has 10 degrees or 25.
Thank you.
Final question from me.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Shannon. Please, go ahead.
I was just going to say, final question from me. If everything does go our way and it is voted our way in July, how soon do you expect the Australian government, those involved in the Olympics, to actually get started on building those new venues? Is there any requirement there to hit the ground running, or because we are such a long time out from the Games, do we have time before we have to start building those things?
No, this will go according to the development program for the region, which is in place anyway. There, the games as such are not concerned. This development plan is there, the 10 plus 10 plus. There, also in there, the games as such are not concerned. This development plan is there, the 10 plus 10 plus. There, also in Queensland and the federal development program, and this will go its way, and then by 2032 the Olympic Games can benefit from being aligned with these long-term development plans, and this is exactly what we want with our reforms, that the games fit into these overall development plans of the host.
Thank you for your time, Thomas.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Shannon. Let's stay in Australia with Jacqueline Magnay now from the Australian. Jacqueline.
Hi, President Bach. Good afternoon. I was just wondering, what do you say to the other cities who wanted to host the 2032 Games? Are their hopes completely dashed at this point?
No, there we are in contact, and the Commission is in contact with all of them, so I can later on refer to Christine Kloster-Asen again. But, the advantage of this new approach is that now we have already for our successors a pool of interested parties who want to organize Olympic Games in 36 or even in 40. And the Commission will continue to work with them in the spirit of this new approach, means to assist them to develop together a sustainable and feasible Olympic project. And on this, then our successors can build on when it's time to decide. They're about 36 and 40, and the Commission will also, take this opportunity to study more in depth which effect their climate change may have on sports in general and the Olympic Games in particular. And with this, I think we can be extremely satisfied that this process just continues. We do not have anybody against whom a decision has been taken. It is here now a proposal in favor of Brisbane, and it is a decision in favor to continue the dialogue with the other interested parties, and of them we have quite a few. So the future of the Games looks bright.
Can I just ask one thing about the criticism of John Coates and perhaps his position and whether there's any conflict of interest?
Oh, we have our very strict rules in the IOC, and these rules are closely monitored by our chief compliance and ethics officer, and as a result of this, John Coates has not taken part in any discussion or any decision there in the executive board concerning the Olympic Games 2032, and this of course includes also today, when his line was cut, when we turned to this topic, and he even then came late for the next topic because the line had to be re-established.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Let's go to Liam Morgan from Inside the Games now. Liam, please give us your question.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Hope all is well in Lausanne. Quick, as a sort of follow-up to Jacqueline's question, really, you would have seen there's been a lot of criticism of this process given an alleged lack of transparency in choosing Brisbane. Cities have been very critical of the approach. What lessons have you learned from this process, and can we expect future Olympic awarding to be exactly like this, or will there be changes along the way? Thank you.
Well, these cities are all still in the process, and they have confirmed most recently that they wanted to continue this dialogue, and I do not think that they would be ready to continue this dialogue if they would be so critical of this procedure. And it is and has been from the very beginning a very transparent procedure. The decision about the new process has been taken in May 2019. Right after this, all the NOCs of the world have been informed in detail what this new procedure means and what they need to do and what they can do if they are interested. It has then been presented to the ANOC General Assembly in 2019. Then we had, a good number of candidates, many more than we had in all the recent procedures before. This was also showing the appreciation. Then afterwards, the Commission took up the dialogue. The Christian Kloster-Assen can then maybe report in more detail, and they were always informed about the next steps and what they would need to do. and then the reports again of the Commission, were they're being published. Already when it came to the targeted dialogue, they were presented to the IOC session this March, and they will then again go to the IOC session. So there, in particular, the session, is part of this decision making more than before, where it only came to the session with the last vote. Here it has been presented twice, and with all the reports having been made public. I don't know whether, Christian, you would like to add there a little bit from your experience in the Commission, which I do not have.
No, thank you very much. And I would just like to echo what the President is saying. The mandate of the Commission is public for everyone to see. The new approach is public for everyone to see. All the documents and the milestones have been published on the IOC website, and the Future Host Commission has kept the Executive Board and the session updated, while at the same time respecting the confidentiality of the interested parties and the dialogue they have with us. Which is only fair. So the new approach is flexible, and it allows the Future Host Commission to do its work and to be transparent in everything that is being decided.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Liam. Let's go now back to Australia. Tracy Holmes from ABC. Tracy, we finally got you today after our troubles yesterday, so connecting. I hope you're there. Yes, good. Please ask your question.
Thanks very much for that, and thank you for your persistence. My question is about Brisbane being put forward and the talk of legacy plans aligning, the social and economic plans aligning with that of the IOC. Can you tell me what those social and economic plans are? And President Bach, what is your vision of what the Olympics is going to look like in 2032? Will it just be the same as we're seeing today, or will it be something quite different?
Okay, let me first turn to Christine Kloster-Aas and to answer your first question. And then, if I may, I'm coming back to your second question. That's fine for you?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Christine.
Thank you. The beauty of the new approach is actually what you are asking is to be able to align the development plans of a future host with the concept of the games, in which they plan the concept of the games depending on what their own development plans are. So it is very much a two-way conversation, and then trying to align each other's ambition and plans with each other. And that has been the most fruitful exercise, because it's not like saying you have to do it this way or that way. It is trying to collaborate in a way that the game's concept will actually reflect and echo the development plans of the future host.
With regard to your second question, my vision is that the Olympic Games keep their core mission, and this is the universality and the unity in all our diversity, so that you will still see the entire world coming together for these Olympic Games, and everybody being equal and respecting the same rules. When it comes then to other issues, there will be a very different interpretation of the Olympic values of the Olympic program. There, I'm sure that our successors they will have their own view when it comes to the sports program. When it comes to then. To also have, e-sports, but with, I hope, with the physical activity, the ones. This will have been much further developed than thanks to the new technologies available at the time, in particular with regard to virtual reality. It may be also a different approach there with regard to the qualification systems and so on. But this is, already very technical, and there I would not like to go into detail. I want to leave my successor there also, a lot of room for their vision and their fantasy. But again, I hope and I'm confident, in particular also, with this decision today, that this appreciation of universal sport and this coming together at one place to celebrate this unity in all our diversity with and through and in sport, that this remains the same, because this is the mission of the games at the end.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Thank you, President. Let's go now to Associated Press, Graham Dunbar from AP. Graham.
Hello. Oh, sorry, my light's not very good. Hello. Hope I'm unmuted now. A question not about Tokyo or Brisbane, but the European sports model. It was said at the ASWAF meeting this week, Mr. Bach, you've been very active in lobbying with EU commissioners. In the context of the football club's case against UEFA, the European Super League. What do you see as the risks posed by that case to all the IFs? Would you make a submission? Does the IOC plan to make a submission to the European Court in Luxembourg, where this is probably going to be decided? And when there is quite a lot of overlap between the Italian Olympic family and the ownership of Juventus, is there any way of trying to have influence there to try to pull them back from, what's shaping as like a nuclear option?
Oh, we have been in contact there all the time with a number of European governments, and I also recently paid a visit to the EU Commission in Brussels, and there the European sport model was always on the top of the agenda, even before the question came up again. Very prominently through this Super League efforts. And we will continue these contacts. The upcoming Slovenian presidency of the European Union will prepare EU working paper on sport, and there this European sports model will hopefully play an important role. This is now in the hands of the different governments. But we have seen there in this discussion around the Super League that a number of them have already spoken up in favor of this model. Which means, as a values-based organization of sport, with volunteers, with open competition, means, with relegation and not a mere franchise system, and means solidarity-based sport organization, which allows to support also a sport on the grassroots, which allows to build future generations of athletes, and which allows to sport remaining a real mass movement, contributing through this to the mental and physical health of the population, and in this respect, in particular, of the European population.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you, President. Let's go now to let's go to Gerard Farek. Still got a few to get through. We're probably coming towards the end now, just to warn you. We're trying to get to as many different people today as possible. Let's go to Gerard Farek from Around the Rings, please. Gerard.
Hello, thank you for taking my question. Today I saw that Tokyo 2020 said that President Bach, you will not be coming in June, but you would be coming just ahead of the games. What were some of the factors for that decision, and when are you going to arrive in Tokyo?
This has been discussed with the Tokyo 2020, whether it would really make sense to go back and forth there. Now going to Tokyo, having to respect the quarantine, then being there for a couple of hours, and then going back again, and then after 2 weeks maybe going again having to respect quarantine according to the playbooks. So we came to the conclusion that it would be better that I arrive mid of July than to Tokyo in time for the games, and also all the preceding meetings and visits and organizational issues.
Thank you very much, Farek. Let's go to Sport Intern and Ashish Sharma. Ashish, your question.
Hello, Thomas. Thanks very much for taking my question. It's a bit of a personal question, actually. We talk a lot about athletes and how they prepare. How about you yourself? At what point do you begin to get nervous, excited, looking forward to the start of the Olympics? And is it going to be even more of a nervous thing for you because of the circumstances behind these Olympics with the COVID-19 and all the various different protocols that we have, which are making a completely different Olympics? Are you beginning to feel that sense of excitement building up inside you as we get nearer to the Olympics already?
Yes, I do, and I think I can feel with the athletes, and for the athletes, the most important is that the Olympic Games are taking place, and that they can have their Olympic competition, and this is what we are concentrating on and have been concentrating on there all the time. And the athletes, and they have made this very clear, in the International Athletes Forum, that they accept and respect these restrictions we all will have to face. But in the end, it's about their competition, their determination, and their reward for working not only for 4 years for most of them, but for many more years to prepare for this, for most of them, once in a lifetime opportunity, taking part in the Olympic Games. And having felt this, with them, there you can also see this excitement and anticipation, and this also helped and encouraged me to feel the same and to feel with them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's last 2 questions now. Let's go to gamesbid.com. Robert Livingston, please. Robert.
Hello, Mr. President. There's been a lot of urgency, obviously, around 2032. We've heard a lot about that, but we haven't heard much from the Future Host Commission Winter Games for 2030, which is 2 years sooner, even though about a year and a half or 2 years ago, there seemed to be imminent, there's a lot of discussion around it. So what's happened? Why haven't we heard, and why is there a different level of urgency around those games?
No, they are working and are in dialogue there again with a number of interested parties, and I trust that once they have to tell something to the IOC executive board, that then they will come and have a look then at the Olympic Winter Games 2030. But there we are not in a hurry. You know, we are still 9 years ahead of these Winter Games, so it's work in progress, and let's see when they will come up with something in due time.
But why the different level of urgency? You know, you say there's 9 years for the Winter Games, but there's 11 years for the Summer Games.
No, it's not a question of urgency. It's more a question of opportunity, and this is what this new procedure is about. And you know, you also know that I don't know whether I should say this, but you know, organizing Winter Games is somehow more complex than organizing Summer Games because you know, pools, swimming pools, Olympic size, are available almost all across the globe, but there are not so many mountains where you can organize a downhill. So some of these needs, you know, a close study and having a look into it. And there, you know, it's diligence before speed. We are not in a hurry.
Thank you very much. It seems appropriate that we would take our last question back to Australia, and Chip Legrand from The Age. Chip, if you're there, please ask your question.
Oh, thank you. And hello, Mr. Bach. Look, as you'd appreciate, people in Australia are going to wake up to this news in a few hours. So I think it's important that we get it right in terms of trying to explain exactly where things sit now. So you've got a situation where the members of the IOC are being asked to vote on something, but Brisbane is the only choice that they're being given. So can you foresee any circumstances in which the members of the IOC wouldn't support Brisbane as the host city for 2032? Or is this now rightly understood as a done deal?
I will never speculate on outcomes of elections, neither in the IOC nor elsewhere. This decision is now in the hands of the members. They have all the necessary arguments, documentation. They have the recommendation of the IOC Executive Board and of the future host commission. And they will, in between, also have the opportunity to discuss technical details and ask questions in a telephone conference still in the month of June. And afterwards, it's about voting. Let's see, the vote in the commission, so much I can say, the vote in the commission and the vote in the executive board was very clear.
Well, I guess the other way of asking this would be, if they don't vote for Brisbane, what happens then?
You can try through many different ways. You know? You will not lead me into speculation on the outcome of these elections, and I'm very confident that in 2032 we will have great Olympic Games.
Thank you very much, Chip. I think that's a good way to end the press conference today. I'd like to thank the President. I'd like, of course, also to thank Christine Kloster-Assen and Christophe Duby. I've just been reminded that our next press conference will be in Tokyo on the 17th of July, so we look forward to hosting you then and there and seeing some of you hopefully soon around that event. Otherwise, thank you very much indeed, and apologies for those we couldn't get to today. I think a third press conference in a row, I think we got through quite a few questions, so apologies to a few we couldn't get to, but I think we covered most subjects. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay. Thank you very much, and see you in Tokyo or see you from Tokyo.
Recording has stopped.